everybody, welcome to your spring wreath making tutorial. Thank you so much for buying the kit. I hope you have loads of fun creating some spring loveliness. So first of all, I'm just going to talk you through what you should have in your kit, and then we'll get started. So you should have wrapped up in some paper your pre-mossed ring, which we've been busy mossing for you. It's wrapped in paper just to keep the moisture in, so it should be nice and ready to use. And then in your little bag, you've got your toolkit. So you've got some string for binding on, and you've got some moss, which I'll show you what to do with that later, and then some little hairpins in there for you. You should have a strong pair of scissors or similar for you to use, and also you can wear an apron if you want to. Okay, so to start with, you've got a whole bundle of eucalyptus, which we've cut down into roughly about the right size for you to use. So there's plenty of that for you, and that's going to form the basis of your wreath. So pop that to one side, and then you've got lots of materials. We've treated you. You've got some dried larkspur, pink and purple. You have got some steeper grass in the yellow, so it's nice and Eastery. You have some pampas grass, everybody's favourite. Some achillea, and then we've got some birch here, okay, and some pussy willow, okay. Then you have some just vibrant bits and bobs. Everyone's got a little bit different in their packet, but you've got some vibrant bunny tails and some crispedia to use. And then lastly, you've got your spring bulbs, which we've split down ready for you to use. And that's where the moss comes in that I showed you at the start. You'll be using that if you want to disguise your roots and just to keep the moisture in. So you've got your hyacinth bulbs, variety of colours, and some little mini daffodils, some tates. Okay, so that's all of your materials. Your first job is going to be to attach the string to your mossed ring, which I've got in my bag here. So you take your string out, and you're literally just going to attach it nice and tightly to the ring. Just give it a good yank to make sure it's nice and secure. Okay, so that's that. Just set that to one side, and then you're going to start off with a little bit of eucalyptus and maybe some of the birch twig, and you're really just making yourself some little bundles to attach onto the wreath and just to form the body of it. So I'm just going to start with some eucalyptus and some birch at the top. I'm going to have to spin this around for you to see what I'm doing, which is always a bit awkward doing it the wrong way around for me. So just binding it on nice and tightly. And you see how I've just kind of angled it just slightly off centre, so you're just going to have a really nice shape that forms, but everything needs to face in the same direction. So take another piece of eucalyptus, because this really is the bulk of the wreath, which is lovely because it just dries out so nicely. And actually the majority of this wreath will dry out and will keep for a long time. And then the bulbs, as they flower, once they finish flowering, in fact, you'll be able to take them off and plant them out. So yeah, a lot of this wreath you can really make good use out of. So I've made another little bundle with a little bit of pampas grass, and because I was too busy talking, I didn't tell you how to do that. So with your pampas that you've got, you just want to split it into small sections. Obviously you don't want to use the entire stem in one, but so small sections like that to add into your eucalyptus. And then you're just going to layer that just on the same spot, but just to cover the bottom half of the wreath, and just bind that on again. Oops. We're making this while the shop's still open, so I'm hoping that the phone doesn't ring and interrupt us, or we get someone at the door. So hopefully it'll stay quiet. Okay, so you can see how I've just, oh, there we go. Typical. So yeah, we're just binding that on, like so. And then just make sure it's really nice and secure, because as over time, as the wreath dries out a little bit, then the materials that you've got, they will shrink back a little bit. So it's really important just to make sure that you've bound it on nice and tightly. And then really it's just about adding in all the different elements that you've got in your packet, however you want to do it. So sometimes you want to use more of the dried all together, or you can split it out all the way around the wreath. And you know, obviously you don't have to use everything that we've put in the pack for you. It's just really, you know, personal preference. The larkspur, if you want to use that, obviously if you put the entire stem in, I mean, it might look quite cool, it would be quite wild, but ideally you would cut that down. So let's just take a small piece like that, and then maybe mix it in with some of the steeper grass would look really cool. This one, and I'll leave that a little bit long because it's just quite graceful actually. And let's have just a small piece of eucalyptus, and then just cut that off, so you don't want to be dealing with all of this mess, so you can just cut that out. And then that bit's going to just go to the top of the wreath there. I'm just binding it on. Okay. So I hope this is making sense. I'll just do you one more bundle and then we'll speed it up a little bit so you can just crack on. Oh, the pussy willow, as you use that, again, you're just going to cut it down. So you'll probably get 3 pieces out of that one actually. I love this, it's one of my favourites. So again, making yourself a little bundle and add anything else in that you want to. You can keep it as natural or as crazy as you like. So a little bit of those bunny tails in there. And then just get rid of that rubbish. Just following the pattern around really now. So what you want to avoid is too sharp an angle when you're adding in your foliage. So you don't want to go straight up like this. It ends up flapping around a lot. It's really just quite laid and softly following the shape of the ring around. So I'm just going to keep adding in as we're going around. The birch is lovely and soft, it's really pretty. Just gives like a really nice soft effect. And you're just following that shape around. So we're just going to whiz this up for you so you don't get too bored and you can crack on with your own design, and then we'll talk you through the next stages. Okay. Okay, so you come into the end of your wreath now, and you've got this point where you just need to finish off, and it just gets a little bit tricky here because you need to just make sure that your materials are just attached underneath this point here. Sorry, where's that then? So just keep on binding, keep on adding in all your bundles. I hope you've all got on okay so far anyway. And then just lifting up the foliage there. You just want to get it on a bit more of a sharp angle to finish it off. just pull it really nice and tight. You can just fluff it up a little bit as you go. So I'm just going to put one more section of eucalyptus in there, and then I think that's that shape about complete. Use a little bit of larkspur. So just nice and sharply on that angle to finish off there. Amazing how much string you use on these. If you've bound it on properly, you've gone through nearly a whole ball of string. Sometimes I don't know when to stop, I just keep on going, but it gets to the point where you just need to finish it. So, right, so I'm happy there that my wreath's complete. So just give it one last tug really tight and cut your string. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to cut yourself another piece of string just to secure that one. So you're literally tying it on. So cut yourself a length of string and then just, hopefully you can see what I'm doing, just to secure it. You're just going to tie it at the back there. Okay. Got the smell of the eucalyptus. Smells beautiful. Just tie it really tightly there. Okay. And cut it off. Okay, so that is your wreath almost complete, and you're just going to add your finishing touches of your spring bulbs now. So sometimes there's a really obvious spot to put your bulbs. You know, if you've got a bit that's a little bit bare or anything, you can put one onto that. But really you just want to space them out wherever you choose. So you're going to take your bulb and you're just going to nestle it in somewhere like that. Quite often it's good to just pop one on at the binding point as well if you've got a little bit of a gap. But I'm just going to put that one there, take myself another piece of string. And just bind it nice and tightly around the neck of the bulb there. Okay, and just tie that on. You can go around twice if you're not sure it's secure enough, but that's pretty secure for me. Tie that on. Okay, and then you can, if you want to, so in your little kit that you've got some of this reindeer moss, which is just decorative and really pretty. If you don't like the sight of the roots of the bulbs, then you can just take yourself a handful of the reindeer moss and just pop it just around the base of that. Take your pin, your hairpin that you've got there, and just pin it in. A little bit fiddly, but just pin it straight through, nice and secure. You can put a couple in if you need to. I quite like leaving the roots hanging out, but some people prefer to cover them up. Okay. And then simply with the rest of them, just repeat the same. So you can just bash a bit of the soil up if you want to. And then just secure it in there, make sure you're happy with its position. You can lay them all out first if you want to, just before you start adding them on, just kind of loosely lay them where you think you'll want them, and then attach them on. So just get the string to just kind of go underneath the foliage so you don't see it quite so much, and then just again tie it at the back. I want going to leave that one with its roots out because I think it looks really pretty. Okay, and then literally that's all you need to do is just keep going around with the rest of your bulbs and attaching them on. Like I say, you can use your moss if you want to, you don't have to. And then that is your wreath complete. So what you would then do is have a look at it and decide which is the top and bottom. I normally go where the heavier part is, that's the bottom for me, so I think probably I'd probably have it about like that. And then with the rest of your string, you can just make yourself a handle sort of thing, so you can hang it on your door. A hanger is the word, not handle. Just through underneath the foliage at the back, and just simply just knot it at the top. So there, you'll just be able to hang it, make that as long or as short as you need it to go on your door. So I'm going to leave you to just attach your bulbs yourselves and just leave you with a couple of top tips then. So just to keep your bulbs happy, I will just give them a bit of a mist now and then. If your door is covered with a porch and it's not going to get any moisture at all, just direct a little bit of moisture to the bulbs, just that'll just help those along. And then the reason that they're just strung on as they are and not bound into the wreath is so that once they've finished flowering, you can then take them from your wreath and plant them out for next year. Other than that, just leave your wreath to dry out, and you should get plenty of time to enjoy it. So hopefully you've all got on okay with that and enjoyed making it. Love to see some of your pictures once you've completed your wreath, so tag us in anything or send us any pictures, let us know how you've got on, and have a lovely Easter. Thank you again.